Alright, welcome back to the Saloon, and today, your boy Wrangler is going to go over this team right here. This is the Admiral Trench Separatist team. It's a bit picky, it's a little tricky, it doesn't work all that great in GAC, it's not used a lot in GAC or Squad Arena or a lot of other places. It is really good in Conquest, and it is a TW-centered team if you have the Omicrons for Admiral Trench. So that's probably why we don't see a lot of data on it, but we'll get to that in a sec. Let's jump into the next frame and go over the mechanics. All right, so this team is picky. It excludes Separatist droids, which is a lot of them, and it excludes the Geos. Probably because B2 has a buff dispel, an AoE buff dispel, and applies buff immunity to the opposing team. And as you can see, well, as you will see here in a sec, if you can get those two debuffs on the enemy team, you're going to roll them. It's probably overpowered, and that's probably why they excluded droids into the Admiral Trench team. Just my opinion. I have never used it with Asajj, though, this team. I'd be interested to see if you guys have. So if you have some experience with Admiral Trench and maybe using Asajj Ventress as the 5th instead of maybe Django, let me know. Let me know how that goes. I'd be interested. It is a control team, as it's built right here with the tunes that you see, with stagger and shock and stun and a bunch of turn meter train abilities if you can be fast enough with your speed and potency mods, which I recommend. You need the debuffs, you need the turn meter, because if you don't get out quick, they're going to take out your trench or your newt and your team falls apart. It just does. So that's kind of my take on this team and how it works overall. All right, let's get into the abilities, and we'll be kind of quick with this. A lot of this stuff happens in the background, and it's passive in its approach, which is kind of nice. Admiral Trench's leadership is called Feared Tactician. He is going to give all of his allies 30% max health and protection to stick around a little bit longer, potency and speed, per ally with tech or enemy with extortion. So it's conditional, right? This happens throughout the battle as it goes. Separatist allies with tech, so when Wat Tambor is in there and giving out his little tech pieces, that ally is going to gain 100% potency, and the ally with the Bactoid Shield Generator is going to be immune to stealth, which is important, and is going to gain 100% crit avoid and defense. And remember, you're not allowed to put Geos in here, so it's specifically excluded in this part of the kit. Enemies with Burning can't assist, counter, or gain bonus turn meter. That comes from Django. You could also put R2-D2 in here, but he's a droid and he's not a Separatist, so he's not going to do as well. It's really calling out Django here. And then Separatist allies with heal overtimes or HOTS are going to gain 30% counter chance, and when they gain POTS, protection overtime, they're going to gain 30% defense penetration. Again, just a passive way to increase the offense output on this team. But already in the leadership, you see that we need Django, and we need Wat, and we need Newt. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of other options. Okay. Trench is unique. I smell fear, and it smells good. He is going to lose trenches. He's going to lose 50% max health and turn that into max protection. He does that because he gains a protection over time every time he takes a turn, and that helps keep him tanky. He is also immune to buff immunity and healing immunity, which is fantastic. But the big part about his unique, I think, is that he is going to have a 50% chance to gain 100% turn meter, kind of like B2, every time one of his allies gets damaged, or the ally evades, which comes out of Dooku's kit, or they get defeated. So you get the opportunity to get Trench a lot of turns, so you don't need a lot of speed mods on him. You could, and it helps, but he might do better with like offense or survivability, especially those protection mods, to get into his protection over time benefits. And then enemies feared for the first time when they lose their protection, so as you start gunning people down, they lose all their protection and they're into their health pool. They immediately get feared. Again, another control mechanism for this team. And they get shocked if they try to dispel Trench from his protection over time. Just more passive control. His special, called Net Positive, all non-droid Separatist allies gain tactical supremacy, which is 30% crit damage and potency, and they recover 10% protection. If that is dispelled, then they recover 40% health, gain advantage and foresight, which, as you just saw, every time they evade, gives Trench that chance to get 100% turn meter. So there's a lot of passive mechanics built in here to keep this turn meter train going and to keep Trench up and running. If you dispel your target buffs, you inflict stagger with the special, and you call all non-droid Separatist allies to assist. So a mass attack, an all-in brawl on your target enemy with your non-droid Separatist allies. Again, just restricting who you use in this team. His basic unfinished business, inflict shock. If the target was already shocked, inflict stun, more control. And allies with tactical supremacy gain 1 heal over time and protection over time, which gives them additional chances at counter chance and defense pen, making them more offensive. Your 2 support team members here, as seen in the leadership callouts, are Newt Gunray and Wat Tambor. Wat Tambor gives out tech. The Bactoid Shield Generator, put that on Django. We'll see why in a sec. Your Chiewub Metapack can go on Trench or Newt, whoever you want to land more debuffs. Trench is a great option, although he's pretty high potency character already. Newt is going to roll out that extortion, and again, it doesn't spread as well under a Trench leadership as it does under a Newt leadership, so maybe you want to put it on Newt to get more instances of the extort debuff or status effect. It's not really a debuff, it's not red, it's blue, but whatever. If you want to get that out on the field more, put that med pack on Newt and he'll have more potency. And then your Blast Deck weapon mod, put that on Dooku. The reason why is you're going to give him more turn meter, and any enemies that he hits, he's going to kill and they can't be revived. So like Django, your 2 attackers are going to kill people off and they can't come back if you put the Blast Duck on Dooku. And a fast Dooku is just better in general, more control, which we'll see when we get to his kit. Watt also has a couple other things going on. His binary basic, his basic attack, is going to apply AoE heal over times on Watt's turn when he takes it, or if he is being called in to assist, he is going to apply dots to the target enemy and remove turn meter to help you keep that turn meter going on your team. His discharge energy special revives his Separatist allies, so if you do get somebody defeated and it's not a unrevivable kill, then Watt can bring him back, and you're also going to give everybody on your team protection over time, again giving them that added benefit. His Overseer unique, you're going to call Watt to assist when an ally with tech uses a special, so use those specials. Separatist allies gain 30% crit avoid when they get a heal over time. Newt, he has got Viceroy's Reach, his unique. So enemies with extortion have negative 30 speed and offense, so they go slower, they don't hit as hard. And when Separatist allies inflict debuffs, they are whittling down those enemies at 5% max health damage per debuff. That can add up to a lot, like you'll see in the video here at the end. He is also going to self-revive when he's defeated, so Newt comes back, he puts himself under stealth, he's got 100% health and 100% turn meter, so typically when he revives, he's the next guy taking a turn as well. His special, Dubious Dealings, applies extortion to target. This is important. You want to apply extortion to as many enemies as you can, and this is why. You're going to inflict AoE speed down, and you're dealing 20% max health damage to your extorted enemies. So the more extortion is out there, the less healthy those enemies are, the easier it is for the rest of your team to take them out and finish that battle. You're also getting that speed down, AoE, so you want high potency on Newt. Maybe one more reason to put the med pack on him, give him that 100% potency that he gets out of Trench's leadership, so he can apply that extortion to himself, and if you're targeting an extorted enemy, it's also going to apply extortion to the weakest enemy. A little bit of ways to spread that out a little bit. His Motivate special is going to dispel the target enemy, fantastic, reduce their cooldowns, more control, and call all allies to assist if that target was extorted. His Hard Bargain basic is going to reduce the Motivate, where you apply your extortion, by 1 if the target was extorted when you basicked on them. So again, it's conditional, it's picky, the whole team is picky. It just is what it is. Okay, your attackers, Dooku and Django. Count Dooku has a basic and a special that both have a stun chance. The special stuns more frequently than the basic. It has a 50% chance no matter what your potency is. But the special also has the chance to shock and stun another enemy. So more reasons to get Dooku some kind of tech, so he has 100% potency, and he can land these stuns and shocks more often. Or stuns, excuse me. Shocks and stuns. His Master of Makashi is going to put everybody under stealth. He's also going to give AoE 15% turn meter to keep your turn meter train going, and Dooku gains riposte. Now, Dooku already has 100% counter chance with his Zeta under his next unique, Flawless Riposte, but when he has the riposte buff above his head, he hits under protection. So all that max health damage that you're doing with new gunray on your team and extortion rolling around, Dooku is going to be hitting under that protection and tagging that health and potentially killing off the enemies early, which is great. When he attacks out of turn with his Flawless Riposte unique, he's going to deal 30% more damage, gain 15% turn meter for himself, recover protection, and gain crit hit immunity. Which that part doesn't matter that much, I don't think, but the faster your Dooku goes, and with his weapons mod tech on him, he's just going to keep going and going and going, killing enemies faster and keeping himself in the fight. Now Jango Fett becomes your pseudo-tank with this squad. Kind of weird, I know, he's an attacker, but because he is under a Separatist lead, he gets his payout activated right off the rip as soon as the battle starts. So that means he gains damage immunity for 2 turns, increases his offense when he does attack, and with the Bactoid shield generator on top of him, he gets those bonuses for having tech. Increased potency, increased offense. His Notorious Reputation unique gives him 100% defense pen and 50% max health. So again, keeping him in the fight longer and giving him more offensive capability. He is also going to gain Bounty Hunter's Resolve. So as long as he doesn't die under an attack that isn't revivable, he's going to auto-revive himself and be revived, if he needs to be, by Watt with his special. So just ways to keep Jango in the fight. If we go back to the leadership for Admiral Trench, there's that call out to the burning debuff. Jango gives that out with his Conflagration special, which is an AoE burning. Debuffed enemies who are debuffed before the fire comes out lose 25% max health. That's pretty huge. And he reduces the max health as they go. Shrapnel Blast, his special, is going to inflict healing immunity and stagger to the target. So more control and more ways to kill off these targets, and damage without those debuffs to another random enemy. Unscrupulous Gunfire, his basic, is going to damage the enemy, and if that enemy was already debuffed, he's going to attack again, which is great. Jango's also getting 15% offense per debuffed enemy, so he's ramping up his own offense and potentially killing off your enemies even faster. So those are your 2 attackers. Again, you could use Asajj in there, who is also an attacker, and do the AoE things that she does and the stuns. So she may be an appropriate 5th if you want to take Dooku out, although I think Dooku's better. He gets a little bit more benefit out of that, but you could try it. Okay, so here's the rub. Trench is rarely used, which the joke from the beginning of the stream or the video comes from Arnold T101 with Trench on the bench. He's always on the bench, he's never used, and it's because he's not that good, despite all the stuff we just said. So he was only used 91 times in the last 5v5 season, but he can be incredibly useful when you take him into the right team. Look at these win rates. Tuscans 100%, Radis 100%, Geos 100%, Phasma First Order 100%, Enoch 83%, Talzin Sisters 82%. And then if you can time it right, if you're faster and you do your abilities in the right order, you can have up to a 75% win rate against Finzori, which is still a really common defensive team. But if Rose is in there with her tenacity up, forget it. And even without Rose in there, there's a whole bunch of iterations of this team losing with a 0% win rate against Fin teams without Rose, equal amount as the ones that win. So you got to know what you're doing, you got to be faster, and you can take out a Finzori. But it's not super consistent. Maybe not, don't use them against Finn, use them against those other ones. But like Radis and Tuscans and Geos, Enoch Remnants, those are more commonly used defensive teams in 5v5, and you can take them out pretty easy. Now, if you want to use them on defense, they have been set 9,500 times, not that often, with a 12% hold rate, not that great, but they're a pretty good banner stripping team. So if you want to put them on there just to strip banners, if you're an efficiency player, the average banner win against these guys, last season anyway, was a 55 banner win. So you're knocking 10 banners off that one battle. Not bad. If you look at the top counters for the Trench team, this is also why it's not that great. So if you put it on defense, it is going to get rolled by Great Mothers and CLS and BKM, Bo-Katan Mandalore, EP Starkiller teams, Mon Mothma teams, Phoenix teams, Gas teams, all at 90% or better. And if you really want to take them out, these teams have a 99% win rate. Gungans, Malgus Sith Empire, Reva Inquisitors, Dr. Aphra, and Treya Sith, which you can do on a 4-man. So look at sugo.gg and you can look at these counters, see how to run them. You can check out some YouTube videos and see how these teams work live before you use them. But at 99% win rates, you can pretty much just hit auto and let them do their thing. So again, just to wrap this up on the mechanics part of these tunes and how they work together as a team, they're kind of picky. They have exclusive mechanics that exclude the Separatist droids and the Geos. They're a control team primarily with all of their debuffs, so if you can't land your debuffs, you're going to get rolled. And you need to be fast. You need to get out quick and keep that turn meter train rolling as best you can. If it stalls out due to tenacity up or days or you start losing tunes, you're going to lose really quick with this team. Pretty good in T-Dub though, which we'll see here in just a sec. Okay, let's get into the videos and see this team in action. So this first video is Conquest. They're not great in Squad Arena up against GLs, other than Rey. Works pretty good there. So we'll see a T-Dub video next with this team fighting a Rey team. But right now I took these guys into Conquest against Tuskens, which is one of the high win percentages on the Swigo.gg data. I get to go first with Watt, but these Tuskens are all ramped up, juiced up, so they're going to go first after this. But we're going to put the shield generator on Django and make him into a tank. Now normally Dooku would go next and hide everybody, but because the Tuskens are quick, they got to go. Not a big deal. Trench gets in there, he got that 100% turn meter gain. We stunned one of the Tusken Raiders for the damage. There goes Master of Makashi to hide everybody. Now Django is the only one they can attack, and because Tuskens don't have AoEs, they're stuck behind that damage immunity. Now we can start getting some extortion out. You can pick whoever you want. I went after the damage dealers, try to get these Raiders out first. Remember, they're losing speed and offense every time they're extorted under Newt. Knock out that Tusken Raider with Dooku's big special, his Force Lightning. Now we're just kind of going to spread out the debuffs here. We want to get that Conflagration out and get Burning out on everybody. We got it 100%. On 100% of the time on the other team, probably because we had 100% potency on Django from having tech on him out of Trench's leadership. And we're just going to pick these guys apart. We could go basic, we could go special, we could have called everybody in there and taken out that Tusken Shaman, but I wanted to stall it out a little bit here. We're going to go under Master Makashi again, get everybody under stealth, except Django. He is still under damage immunity, he's only taken one turn so far. The exposes are coming from the data discs in Conquest. Normally you don't get those exposes. It just whittles the Tuskens down even faster. We go all in brawl over on that Shaman, get him out of there. Aurora is about to eat it here. We're going to gain some protection over time with Watt's special. So you can see that pop up over their heads there. And then we got a basic here. It's going to kill off either one. We just took out the Raider. And then finally, let's take out the leader. So pretty easy, even in a Sector 3 Conquest battle with juiced out of their minds Tuskens. Okay. This video is a territory war video. It comes from Bit Dynasty, and I left the link on this video in the description if you want to check it out yourself. Bit Dynasty is great. If you're not subscribed to him, you should. He's a very smart player. He has one Omicron on the leadership on Trench on that. That's it. So just a one Omicron team. And this is a rather annoying Rey team. It's got Nest in there. It's got Barris. It's got L3. What you can see is he went after L3 right off the rip and got her down really fast. She's going to dip out due to those damage over times here in just a sec. And you want a team that controls if you're going up against Rey, because you want to control Ben. And you want to control Nest. So this team is going to be really good at that. We've got our debuffs out there, so we're doing good stuff. We're increasing our turn meter and our damage. We're reducing their max health and their offense so they can't hit as hard. The one thing about the Rey team in T-Dub, though, in any game mode really, is we're gaining turn meter, And Ray loves when we do that, right? She is ramping up her offense every turn we take. And we're under this for a while. But we can still land debuffs on the other team members. We can keep debuffs on Ray, which helps to mitigate that damage. It decreases her damage when she has debuffs on. So we want to keep debuffs on her as much as we can. We've got ability blocks coming in on Nest. We're not doing any damage right now because of Ray. But we are stacking up those debuffs, and we want to keep them on everybody if we can. There we go. There's another stun out of Dooku's Force Lightning. We're not going to stun Ray. She's immune to that. But we're going to keep hitting. Here she goes with her big attack, and we survived. Now, I can tell you, I've done this fight a couple times in T-Dub. I don't have the Omicron, and it doesn't go as well. You lose a lot of team members on that first unleash of the ultimate. But look at that. Ben's gone. Barris is just about tapped out here. We're going to take her out right now. Take Nest out with Jango's rocket. There goes Barris. And now it's just Ray. And because we killed Ben, either with Jango or Dooku, he can't come back. Right? We got Dooku with the weapons mod. Jango prevents that anyway with his Zeta. So really good counter for Ray in Territorial Wars. Works better there in GAC, but you could use it there too. It just doesn't work as well. But thanks to Bit Dynasty for that video on a full point win. Kept everybody alive on that. All right, so that is my take on the Admiral Trench Separatist team. I hope it was enjoyable for you guys. It's a team that I wanted to get a little bit more into the mechanics, so this video gave me the opportunity to do that and understand that team just a little bit better. Okay, I will see you on the next video. You guys have a great weekend, a great week. Enjoy yourselves out there. Be good, but not too good. Have fun. We'll see you.